Haason Reddick coming to this organization, what he can do not just to help your pass rush, but also some of these younger pass rushers, having an experienced guy that's been there and done that in their ring.
He's, well, first of all, really excited to have him. He's been an elite player. He's got a lot to prove. He's very hungry. I've really enjoyed the conversations we've had since we signed him. And, he's going to play to try to get another bite at the apple, which I like. So, and then, he's really excited to help the young guys, and he's talked about that, being a leader and all those things, so that's always going to help. And just excited what he can do for all those guys, for Yaya, for Elijah, Vita, Braswell, all of those guys will benefit from him.
Did his year in New York cause you any hesitation from a character standpoint?
Not from a character standpoint. Every situation is different. Everything, there's a story behind everything. I think it's behind him. In some ways, I was kind of excited. It gave us an opportunity to potentially get great value, and I'm rooting for him to have a great year.
Fair to say you talked to Howie Roseman about him a little bit, Jason? Fair?
It's fair. Howie's one of my best friends, so it's fair.
So, with that being said, does that change the mindset of maybe going for an edge rusher in the first round at 19?
I don't know if it changes the mindset there. We've got a few players, a handful of players like we do every year that we think could be there at 19, including edge rushers. And I think we're going to stick to what's the best player. And, if it happens to be an edge rusher, it's an edge rusher.
Jason, do you foresee Tyke Smith maybe moving back to natural safety position instead of the slot with the move of Jordan?
It's definitely something Todd's talked about, and you don't want to load up a rookie with too much. And I think Tyke, having a year under his belt, can handle a lot more. And it just kind of depends on how the construction of the roster continues here after the draft, but it could be a possibility.
What does it say about him to want to go to Todd and say, hey, as a nickel, I'm on the field 75% of the time. You put me in safety, I'll be on the field 100% of the time, essentially.
He's definitely wired the right way. He wants to play all the time. And, so does a lot of our young players and older players, but our young players, that's a quality that we like in them. They want to see, do whatever they can to get on the field as much as they can.
How you feeling about the corner position, Jason, and what's the draft have to offer in 2020?
Yeah, there's a lot. It's a pretty good draft there throughout the entire draft. We'll see how it falls to us, but we could use some help there, whether it's depth, whatever it is, we could use some help there.
So you think about those 7 interceptions, right? That's it right there. You've had conversations.
Trust me, Todd. There's nothing Todd wants more than one of the things he wants is more interceptions.
What's Jamel Dean's situation with you guys? Is he back for his final year, or is he somebody you still look at after the draft to move?
So Jamel, we've had some injuries last couple of years. He was a really good player not too long ago.
Right.
He's high expectations for himself. We have high expectations for him, and we feel good about Jamel.
You guys brought back Shaq Barrett for a couple games last season. You guys any conversations with him? Would you want to bring him back in?
Love Shaq. We'll have to see how things go here. Want to give him a fair opportunity to give him the best shot to play a little bit. So we'll have to see how that goes. We'll keep monitoring that, but Shaq's always going to be above.
Can you talk about your hire at Beistlein is that how you pronounce it, Beistlein?
Beastline.
Beistlein, in terms of football research, what his game day responsibility will be, how he's going to help the front office, the coaching staff during the week.
It's something Todd stressed that he wanted to have somebody to assist him in that role. It's a full-time role. He's done it for a while. He's got a great reputation. He's also got a great background in analytics. We work with Jackie on that end, but on game day, working for Todd, and we're just excited. Get that process. It's already started, so it's not as easy as some people think. It's something that it's a full-time job. So putting scenarios together, talking through them, it's fun.
Was there any thought of bringing in a different backup? I know at the time Minshew was out there, quarterback. What was the reasoning bringing Kyle Trask again back?
Because we really like Kyle. And we know Kyle better than anybody. And a couple years ago, there was a quarterback battle, and he did very well. And just because he hasn't had the experience doesn't necessarily mean that he's not the right person. Some quarterbacks that have experience getting thrown into the fire because the starter went down, they get a lot of money because they have the experience. Doesn't necessarily mean they played well. Kyle just hasn't had the game time experience. I think if he ever did, I think we'd be talking about a different situation. So very, very excited about him, and glad that he's back with us.
You guys also brought back Ben Johnson. He came in 1 year last year. Now it's a 3-year deal. How big was it to get him back, and obviously from the continuity standpoint?
Huge. That I've said it a million times. It feels like, but that room is the most important room in the building for everybody, for football side, business side, everybody, because jobs are on the line, and when that offensive line room is gelling and playing well, we all thrive. And he fits in well with them. He's a great leader. He's a great person. He's a great teammate, and he's a good player. So very excited to have him back.
How intrigued are you about what Cervasier Dennis can do? Jason stays healthy.
Super intrigued. Super intrigued. That was a big blow to us, bigger than a lot of people knew. He wasn't able to play for us last year because he was really coming on. I think he's a very good starting linebacker in this league, and I think we've got the issues resolved. And he's ready to go.
What have you seen from him when he does get on the field?
He's very explosive. He's fast. He's instinctive. He's got a quick trigger. He's instinctual player, both in the run game, pass game. Very, very smart.
You said you want to go with like the best player when it comes up on your board. Suffice to say, this draft would be heavier defense for the Buccaneers, Jason?
Yeah, but it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Yes, suffice to say that, but it doesn't. You know, the draft falls, and there's going to be a lot of curveballs that happen. So, but yes.
How do you feel about the overall depth at corner? You mentioned Dean before, but some of the guys behind him that were signed this offseason.
Good. I think we've made improvements, and we're in a better place than we were last year.
Jason, the Philadelphia Eagles tush push is a hot topic of debate right now. Do you feel one way about it the other? Do you feel like you should be there and okay with the play? What are your thoughts on it?
I'll probably refrain from giving my opinion, but I'll say, hey, kudos to them. They've mastered it. They're very good at it. We happened to stop it once, but kudos to them.
You look at Todd's ability to bring Dave Canales along. Now he's going to be doing the same thing with another rookie offensive play caller. To a degree last year with Liam, but Liam had some play calling experience in Kentucky. But just from a comfortability standpoint, how much does that put you at ease that you've seen Todd been there and done that before and understand the process and what's involved in that?
It's very comforting. He's got a plan to bring Josh along during OTAs, call-up periods, give him all the experience he needs. Todd's really put a lot of thought into this. He did the same thing when we had hired Dave. I think Josh is wired the right way. He's excited. He's ready to take advantage of the opportunity. It's going to be a lot of fun to work with him. It already is, but I'm expecting big things.
Jason, if those pool of players that you covered going into the draft, if they're off the board, would you think twice about moving down 5 spots or whatever and getting an extra 3rd or 4th round pick?
No, not at all. It depends who's there and how many players we still like in the next tier.
Right.
But no, I've done it before. I always enjoy doing that because I like the picks. But recently, just has worked out that there's been a player that we just really like Grandmaster. So, but no, it's always going to be an opportunity and something that we think about to do.
Jason, Jalen McMillan played really well, especially end of last year. But both Mike and Chris are getting up there on age and have a lot of tread off the tires. Is receiver one of those positions that you want to renew as these guys get on?
It certainly could be. It certainly could be. It depends. It's there.
Who's there?
But it wouldn't be wouldn't be a bad idea.
Right.
You know, Mike could play another 3 years. Chris could play another 5 years. You know, who knows? But you know how it is in the league now. It's explosive offenses
Yeah.
we've had a lot of success with that. So, yeah.
Last year you had the second or one of the youngest teams in the league. And when you do that and you get a starter injured, sometimes you're going to a guy that hadn't played much. Seems like you covered yourself in free agency with that experience that if you have an injury, someone's coming in that's played a lot of football before.
Yeah, that was the goal that we had to try to do that, and we got some good play out of our tight ends down the stretch too.
Yeah.
And and then Bucky came on the stage, and Rashad, we still think he's a very, very good player. Sean Tucker, I'm excited to get things going.
You mentioned the importance of the offensive line. You signed Charlie Heck, re-signed Sue Opeta. How comfortable are you with the guys behind the starters?
Good, very good. I love old linemen though. I mean, it's like there's one there that we've got our eye on a few. That doesn't take away from what I feel about the guys that we currently have. So, but I feel very good about our offensive line right now.
Feel the same way maybe about defensive tackle, Jason? It's not a gaping need.
No, but
this draft has some.
It does, and you've seen the good teams recently. They play in waves, and you want to keep the guys fresh. It's like watching what John Cooper does with the Lightning. So it could be to your advantage to have as many good defensive linemen as possible.
Jason, I know you have a lot going on. You haven't had time to reflect on it, but as being the 50th season for the Buccaneers, what does that mean to you and to be a part of it?
Well, it's awesome that I'm here for that. There are times I thought I'd make it to the 44th season. So it's awesome to be a part of it. I'm really looking forward to watching this, how this there's a documentary, and it's really cool to be a part of it. Yeah.
Jason, what led you to breaking the news of Sterling Shepard signing with the team? Is it one an off season or?
It's become an annual tradition for my front office and I to, at the end of that first week of free agency where we're all just beat up and spent to take a couple hours and go out and on the water and for me to sign somebody there and break the news. So it was John Walford last year and Sterling was the beneficiary this year. So.
Okay. Thanks, Jason.